Good night. My name is Nicholas Nelson, and this is assignment 1 for iTech 285. I took the liberty of already starting my database. So I am naming the database. I'm going to name it student. I'm going to press OK. Next, while I'm in the student database, I'm going to create a table in the database. And what's going to happen with this table, we're going to link it to Access, so that most updates I create in any update I make in Access would be automatically updated here when I'm creating it in these fields. I'm going to name 3 fields: ID, first name, last name. I'm going to give them their data types. I'm going to nominate ID as the primary key. I'm going to save my information and rename the table student underscore info. Alright, so next I'm just gonna add some data to the table initially. So we're gonna right click. First I'm gonna refresh. I'm gonna right click and select the first 200 rows, and next I'm just gonna add some data. I'm just gonna add a number, ID number, first name, and a last name. Next, what I'll do, I'll save that information, ensure that it's still there, and from there on we're going to Access. We're gonna link Access to our server, Microsoft Server 2014. Alright, so in Access we're gonna go to OBC database. We're gonna link it. We're going on manage user data sources. I'm gonna create a new data source. Alright, it gives me a warning because I did not log in as an administrator. However, I go to next, select SQL Server, finish. I'm gonna give the data source a specific name. So I'm gonna name it info for student. Next, I'm going to check the server. The name of my server is Arsenal. Go next. Next, I select my database, which was student. Finish. Ensure that all the connections are successful. Alright, they were successful. I'm gonna press OK. Select my data source, and from the Access brings up this option where I can choose the database. Now when I open it, it shows the same database that was created in the server 2014. So now I'm gonna add some information on Access, and what's gonna happen is that this information is going to show up in the database. So I'm just gonna add some information and ensure that it shows up in the database. And once I see it shows up, that means that the connection was in fact established. Alright, so this is just gonna take a sec. Alright, so I'm gonna save my information. I'm gonna minimize Access and bring up server. Right, so when I refresh, and when I go to check the tables, the first 200 words, the same information I entered in Access, it shows up here on the server, which would mean that my server is in fact connected to Access. Thanks for watching. Do have a pleasant evening.